Today is the feast of one of my most favorite saints, Saint Teresa of the Child Jesus, or the Little Flower of Jesus, or simply the Little Flower. She was a woman who was so in touch with God that she could talk with God directly and God would respond. The reason why she could do that is because her faith was a childlike faith. Her faith realized that all her dependence was on God. And because she depended so completely on God, God let himself be depended on. Saint Teresa was born in the year 1873 and lived for a brief 24 years. She died in the year 1897, and she died of the dreaded disease in those days of TB or tuberculosis. Saint Teresa, when she was aged 15, got special permission from the Pope to enter religious life, and all of her adult life from the age of 15 till she died at the age of 24, she lived in a cloistered Carmel convent. Saint Teresa wanted to give her entire life to God. She wanted to hold nothing back, and the one motto, she said, the one key to life was love. She was saying very clearly that God did not desire great actions. God did not desire great bravery. God did not desire great giving. God desired that whatever action be performed, whatever bravery one would show, whatever giving one would do, had to be done with love. Saint Teresa was a person who lived her life at every moment, and she had tremendous challenges from the moment she joined religious life. And of these tremendous challenges, I'd like to point out two which she was able to surmount because of her dependence on God. The first was her own health. She was really a very sickly young girl, and no matter how much she tried, she could never really keep good health for a long period of time. And she was constantly suffering from this ailment and that, from this disease and that, from this sickness and that, and yet she never let that get her down. She was always smiling, always affable, always available despite her sickness. And at times, she even knew that she had to be sick for God, and she learned that through the hard way of having to rest in her sick bed when she realized she had to be sick also sometimes for God. Sometimes her action was action directed to help others. Sometimes her action was directed to pray. But at other times, her action was directed to her lying and accepting the fact that she was frail and could not do as much as she would have liked to have done. The second challenge that she faced was in community life. Given the opportunity, she would have been happy to spend all of her life simply contemplating God, simply talking with the Lord, simply listening to the Lord. But community life demanded that she had to do other chores. She had to also be with the other sisters who were in the convent. She had to interact with them. She had to dialogue with them. She had to play with them and work with them and eat with them and sing with them. And this could be tremendously challenging for a person who wanted simply to be in the presence of the Lord. But Saint Teresa learned how to make all of those activities also pleasant for herself. And she lived completely the community life, even though it was a tremendous challenge for her. This little flower, this young saint, invites us to love as she did, invites us to live as she did, where she says to us, it is not the number of years that we live that are important, but how we live whatever years God gives us, that is important. If we live like her and perform every action, speak every word only from love, then we will have honored this great saint, Saint Teresa of the Child Jesus, the little flower of Jesus, the little flower. Will you, like Saint Teresa, live fully every moment today, and no matter what word you speak, what action you perform, will you perform it with love?